It's Dr. Steve from Misericordia University. In this video, let's take a look at adding multimedia elements to PowerPoint. This video represents instruction for our class TED121 Educational Technology. In particular, let's take a look at how to download sounds, how to trigger animations, and then let's look at two other multimedia elements, screenshots and also slide transitions. So let's start by locating some sounds to use with custom animation, and then we'll download them and we'll employ them. So we can either go to a specialty search engine, or we can go to Google and let's search for sounds like WAVs, wave files. If we search for wave files as opposed to MP3 files, the nice thing is most waves are free and many MP3s we have to pay for. Another thing is waves will work very effectively within PowerPoint, and also waves are smaller sound files, so they will not take up as much room. And then we're going to custom animate a graphic. We're going to do the effect options and add a sound, but this time we'll go down to the bottom option that says Other Sound. Let's go try it. When I search for sounds, I can certainly go to Google, and I'm going to search for elephant sounds, and I'm going to type elephant, I'm going to put a space and put .wav. Now, if I do that, first of all, I'm going to look for the word elephant, and I'm also going to look for the .wav as a text element on the page. Now, notice that I put that space because maybe the word elephants.wave will appear. So there might be variations of that word. Now, here's a caution. When I'm searching for sounds, and anything with music or sounds online, make sure, I'm going to click into one of these sites, make sure that what you're looking at and think you're going to get is what you're really going to download. So, for example, here it's saying here's an elephant sound, and I can play it and hear it right now, but what I really want to do is download it. Now, if I look over here, it says download MP3. Let me check on the lower left-hand corner of the screen. So I'm going to go way down here, and unless you turn it off in your browser, a little balloon should pop up and tell me what I'm going to download. So here, sure enough, it says something .mp3. And this one, sure enough, it does say something .wav. Now that's good, because sometimes you'll find that someone will not give you those things that you think, those types of files that you think you're going to download. Here's another one. Let me go to this site and see what they're offering. Now here it says MP3, and here it says WAV. Now here, right at this point, it's saying we can't even download these. I'm getting a balloon right here telling me I have to register and be a paid member on this particular site. Now, let me go to another site and let's take a look. When I roll over this one, it says MP3. Look at the lower left-hand corner. Here it's saying register, and the wave, it's saying register. So realize, if I click on these, I'm not going to be downloading what I think I'm going to be downloading. It's not going to be an MP3 or a WAV file. Now, these are harmless enough, but in many cases, you'll find that someone is being paid to direct you and basically dupe you into thinking you're going to download a particular type of sound file, and really they're going to get you to click into some other site. So in other words, they're going to get paid for directing you to another site. So that's kind of like a false or fake news. So just be aware, if you roll over the name of a file, look in the lower left-hand corner, if it says .html or anything other than .wav, or if you're searching for .mp3s or another sound file type, then don't go there. And now I can download one of these sounds. I'm going to click into this site because in our class we talked about findsounds.com. And we said that Find Sounds was a great search engine that strictly, it's a specialty search engine, strictly serves up sound files only. So when I look at these and I roll over them, sure enough, I'm definitely going to get that type of sound. And here they're serving up MP3s, they're serving up WAV files, and they are for free, which is really nice. Now, because Find Sounds is a specialty search engine, I'm going to go back to the main screen of Find Sounds and show you that it has its own search capabilities. And in addition to that, I can also, for teachers this is very handy, can also go down and look at the various categories of sound, like animal sounds and various like bird sounds and vehicle sounds and game sounds and so on, that for teachers, many of these would be very good categories to search for. Now, if I type the word elephant here, it's going to take me to the page that I was just on a moment ago. Now, when I do find a sound that I like, and I can play it right here, and I can listen to it, if I like the sound, then what I can do is, since it's not giving me a specific way to download it, I can simply right-click, I can say save this link, and I'm going to save it. If you don't tell it where to save, it's going to put it here in your downloads folder, unless you have a particular place to save. So, for example, I might go to the desktop, and maybe I have a special folder for this purpose. And here I've got a temp folder that I created, and I can now put this sound, which I can also change the name of the sound at this point. Not the type, but I could change the name of it so I can locate it more easily, and I'll save it. Now I have a copy of it, and instead of clicking on it down here in the lower left-hand portion of the screen to just hear it and play it, what I really want to do is go into PowerPoint and insert it and embed it into the PowerPoint file, and then have it play in the midst of an animation. Now, to make a sound play during an animation, I'm going to start off by opening up the animation pane, and let me go take one of these graphics. I'll choose my elephant, and I'm going to go ahead and animate it. So I'm going to take the elephant, and I think I'm going to have the elephant grow. So it'll look like the elephant is walking toward me, and I could play with the speed of it and so on. Now, when I go to choose the sound, I go to the usual place, Effect Options. And now, when I say Sound, I'm not going to choose one of the sounds that they have provided, but rather Other Sound. And now, I am going to go to the desktop. I'm going to find my temp folder. There's my elephant sound, and let me insert that and embed it. Wow. Now, just when you're choosing sounds, make sure you don't scare the children, especially if you're working with young children. But that can be something that is energizing to students and a lot of fun for them as well. Now, let me download a sound that I can use to, along with an animation, to teach some math content. So what I'd like to do, and I've already done some of the animation in advance, I'd like to start off with this formula, this algebraic formula on the slide first. Then I'd like to animate, let's let a equal 6. And then ultimately, I'd like the answer to appear. So what I'm going to do is I have another text box available here, and I'm going to dramatically show that a is replaced by the number 6. So let me go do that. Now, I've superimposed this over, and you can see that it's a conflict because the two characters are visible together. I'll fix that right now. Shape format. Let me fill this shape with the same background color, which is white, so that will blend in here. And now let me go animate this. So I'm going to animate this, and I'm going to do this dramatically. So I'm going to have this bounce on in, and I've already gone out to findsounds.com, and I looked for a boing sound. So I'm going to go to Effect Options, and where it says Sound, I'm going to select an other sound, and here's my boing wave file, and there it is. And now let me just place the animations in the correct order, and now let's watch it play. Now, if you're a math teacher, if you're teaching math to younger children, it would be so much more stimulating and so much more interesting and so much more understandable when you're using animations and effective sounds when you're teaching this type of content. Now let's take a look at how to make animations play with a trigger. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with doing a usual animation, and then we're going to add sounds or anything else we want to do as usual. And then we're going to specify the triggering object. So let's go try it. Here, I'd like to answer the age-old question of why did the cow jump over the moon? So here, I'm going to take this cow, and I'm going to have the cow jump over the moon. So that calls for an animation. So let me animate, and I think it calls for a custom path. So here I'll have the cow jump over the moon, and double-click over here. I can add a sound to that as well. I've already gone out to findsounds.com. I went to, I'm going into Effect Options. I'm going to say Other Sound, and here's the cow sound that I downloaded. Excellent. So far, it's the same thing that we've been doing. But now let's add the trigger, because normally when we click on the slide, the very next item in this playlist in the animation pane, it plays. Well, let's go over and let's take the drop down arrow, and this time let's go to timing, and let's look at another piece that's here, and it's called the trigger. And you'll notice that by default everything is animated as part of a click sequence. In other words, you click and then it plays in the order that it's found over here on the right side of the screen in the animation pane, or as I call it, the playlist. Now I can also say start the effect. So this is the trigger. So play on trigger, and I can select one of these items, and these are all items and elements that are located on this slide. So let's take a look at them. Here we've got a rectangle. That's the text box. It says play on trigger. That's this title. On the bottom it says text box, the cow jumped over. Okay, that's very clear to see. Then there are two different graphics here. Notice the PowerPoint in its current version will automatically number these graphics for you. So how can I figure which one is picture 3 and picture 4? Well, which one did I animate up here? That was picture 3. Oh, well, that's the cow. So then I know through process of elimination, cow is picture 3, moon, picture 4. But I could actually trigger on any of these elements. So I'm going to say click the cow, which is picture 3. So let me go do it. There's picture 3. Now it looks like it's just going to run as usual. But let me bring it up to the full screen here. When I do this, in reality, I have to click the cow. Notice that as my pointer gets close to this graphic, I get the hot pointing finger. If I'm over any other element here, that's not going to happen. So to make this cow trigger, I have to press that, click on that graphic. If I do it again, it actually runs a second time. Let's introduce how to capture a screenshot, or in other words, how do you perform a screen capture? Now, this is not a PowerPoint thing, although they do have it in PowerPoint. If I go up to Insert, I can find Insert Screenshot. And if I follow the dialogues here, it does give me some capability. But to really have full power, what I can do is press the print screen key that's on the keyboard of the computer. So And again, every device has different ways of capturing. The iPad has one way of doing that, one key sequence. If you're using a particular type of smartphone, each one has a different key sequence. In the PC world, we press the print screen key. I'm now pressing that key, and after I press it, what I'm doing is I'm taking a copy of this whole screen. Now, if I were to Control V and paste it, look at that, I have the entire screen right here. And now I can resize that, and then I can also crop it in order to show just particular parts of this. And let me demonstrate that. I'm going to delete this now. Let's say that I was just showing about animations and how we do things, or better yet, before we were looking at insert shapes. Let me say insert shapes, and let me press the print screen key right now. Okay, I've done it, and now I'm going to paste. So Control V, notice that it captured everything that was on the screen at the time. Now, if I want to make better educational use of things and highlight different parts of this, I can say picture format, and I can use the cropping tool, and I could highlight just certain parts of this. Let's say I just wanted to highlight this particular dialogue right here. I could do that, and I could hide the rest of this on the bottom. And then I could resize this if I wanted to. And if I were to use this along with some call-out tools and animate them and add sound, now I could really help students understand where to look for these different menu options and items within a program or an app. So capturing screenshots, you could do it through PowerPoint from the Insert menu, or better yet, do it within Windows operating system by pressing the print screen key, but don't forget to paste after to get it in here. For the final multimedia element that we'll add into PowerPoint on this video, let's take a quick look at slide transitions. They're very easy to work with. They're professional television, TV type transitions, and don't overuse them, but if they're used once in a while, they can be very effective. I'm going to go up to the transitions menu item, and I'm going to choose either one of them that are just sitting here, or I can take this little drop down arrow, and there are all kinds of things that are available here, and some of them are a little more exciting and some of them are a little more basic. I'm going to do airplane. Ooh, that was a nice one. When I move from one slide to another, now that particular transition will occur. Let me do a different one. So here I have airplane. Let me do something that is traditionally done on TV. So we see things like checkerboards, we see things like zooming in. So many times we see these kinds of things, these kinds of effects in video. Now you can add them to PowerPoint as well to create some really interesting video effects. To review, in this video we considered how to download sounds and different places where you could download just sounds and sound effects, and also how to make them play with animations. Then we looked at an advanced piece in PowerPoint, which is triggering animations to run. And then finally, we looked at two additional elements. We looked at how to do a screen capture and use it in PowerPoint, and also how to add slide transitions. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you in class.